Sup, it's your unfriendly red rat neighbor Kev from Cornish, and I'm back with a brand new video. Wow, that was surprising. I didn't sing some shit at the beginning of the intro. Anyway, check out all the links in the description. There are what if creators that I think are amazing, such as Kid Zeus of Kid Zeus Studios, Six Master of the Meister Clan, Lord Titan Gratify YK, just to name a few. These are what if creators again that I think are amazing, but that's just my opinion. Head on over to their page and check them out. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tickle that bell notification to get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. So, I didn't mention the topic of what today is, but you can see on the screen what it is. It's what if Deku was an auditor? What's an auditor? It's not like those auditors that go around videotaping bad cops. No, it's based on that movie I watched like 3 days in a row. I just finished watching it. It's called Nobody. In fact, it's an amazing movie. Granted, I wasn't paying attention to the majority of what was happening, except for the fighting scene, because the fighting scene was dope. Dope as shit. Anyway, so the basis of this what if is, basically from that situation there from the movie Nobody. So we'll start off with where Deku is now, old. Not old per se, but he is retired. He takes a moment to flashback in his life as he was taking out trash. Somehow and somewhere, he is now married to Uraraka. So Uraraka is a Midoriya now. And Midoriya Izuku. Yeah, so Uraraka is Uraraka Midoriya now. Anyway, that's a story in it of itself. Just leave that for episode 2. So we flash back to a Deku where Deku cling or got attacked by the sludge villain, then proceeded to get saved by All Might. After getting saved by All Might, clinged on All Might and landing on the roof. All Might told him that it's impossible to become a hero without a quirk. This is the part where the story changed. All Might told, not changed, but it changed when All Might told Deku that he could become a police officer. That's a valiant form of being a hero. In fact, the society is in need of much more policing. Deku took this advice to heart, becoming a police officer after graduating from middle school, went through the training, and performed well. He was then recruited by MH Secret Service, as he was giving up high enough recommendation from his superior that MH Secret Service, that's my hero Secret Service. But anyway, MA Secret Service recruited him, placed him in a training program where he was then placed to be the bodyguard of the mayor, or whatever you want to call the leader of this universe. He did that for a couple of years. Then he was then recruited. Bumped up to a higher stance where he was then promoted, or not, yeah, promoted to take care of criminals that are beyond hero justification on my man. Basically he got the job where he would, he was the last person you want to see at your front door, because it's gonna be the end of you once Deku is at your front door. Hence the reason he became, he got bumped to being an auditor, and his job was to take care of people who embezzled or tricked the government, used the government for billions and millions of dollars. It dipped. So Deku's job was to investigate, track, and eliminate them. Now we're back in the present time. Deku is in his house. He's currently working at a factory producing cup ramen. He's retired for about a year now. Throughout the year, he met his lovely wife, which now as a world famous hero. I mean, a well known hero throughout the community that she serves. And one day, Deku was doing his job as per normal. He has it as a routine per se. And one day a criminal was rushing through the factory. Uraka, as I said, Uraka is his wife, was hot and pursue as this person um then used a quirk enhancer as he overpowered Uraraka temporarily. Deku, seeing that Uraraka was being overpowered, knowing that he has no quirk, but he has years of fighting experience and self defense experience, he overpowered the criminal via, you mean, without a quirk, you know what I mean? So he assisted Uraraka up. Uraraka asked him what his name was, and a year later, they're now expecting their first born child, you know what I mean? So this basic what if is going to be somewhat of a dull what if for at the moment. So we're going to do a little ostracation of explanation explaining the background of each existing character. So Boom, Deku, Uraka, and the baby is still not born as yet. We're sitting at the table talking, conversing about their futures. At this moment, they're staying in a apartment. Uraka tells Deku that she is dreaming of and when I said earlier that she's well known, doesn't mean she's famous. So money is still a little bit tight. I did air quotation because Deku has to keep his secret even though he's retired. You know what I mean? So he has to pretend that money's tight. So Deku is at this moment he goes by Izuku Midoriya, but his code name is Deku. So at memories of a certain someone, we'll get into that later, into a flashback. As they were talking, Deku is like asked Uraka asked Deku so some weird questions, which Deku, kind of bobs and weaves across and stuff. So later on that night, they went to do their deeds because they're older here. So Deku's probably like 29, 31, and Uraka is like 28 or some. I'm not so sure. And so they did their bedroom duties. At night, Deku was sleeping, and he had in the dream had a dream where he was attacked by the sludge villain, got saved by All Might, and all that replayed back in his head. But a scene where the bottle fell from All Might because of Deku, and Deku proceeded to head home. And a scene where we found out that Bakugo is dead. So at that moment, after Deku were inside his dream state at this moment. At that moment, Deku got the advice, little disappointed, little heartbroken, little confused, went directly home, unbeknownst to him that there was a huge commotion a few blocks away. So he blocked out society at that moment in time, even though screaming could be heard around him. He blocked out everything and went straight home. Later on in the news, it was then revealed that the sludge villain abducted a minor student, as they're now you know investigating as to who that student was. As they didn't have the proper hero. All Might didn't get that inspiration to you know, go past his limit because Deku wasn't there. So that impacted the story a lot more as we view up close to the sludge villain. The sludge villain has his back turned. As he turned around, you could see him that scene. Oh, I can pop that up. I'll do this editing this part for y'all to understand. So this scene actually pops up. Deku finally wakes up. Cold sweat was dripping all over his body. He went into the restroom, drank some water. I'm envious of this part now because we can't do that shit here in on the island. There's certain part of Belize where you could just go onto the pipe or onto the faucet and just drink water, like drink it. Here, you try to drink them water off of them pipe, you gonna die. Not literally, I exaggerated there for a minute, but the water tastes terrible and you get how you call it, diarrhea, if you drink the water off the pipes. Basically, we are surrounded by salt water. There's not river flowing here, so we gotta desalinate the water we use for showering. Well, I use for showering mostly. I usually just buy a bunch of water because when I first moved on the island, I made that stupid mistake of taking one mouthful. Like, I just went over because then remember I was raised in Niagara for 12 years, and we could drink water off the faucet. I'm like, oh, we can do that shit here too. Bloop. 3 hours later, bedridden, bathroom sitting. Anyway, so Deku was in the shower, in the restroom, drinking water off the faucet. Uraraka then came in and asked what was wrong. Deku, still panicking a little bit as she tried to force nothing's wrong out of his mouth. Uraraka could have tell that something was wrong. So she went over to her husband. At this moment, her fiance, her fiance, and patted him on his back, asking him to talk to her, as he remarked that there's nothing wrong. So we're going to flashback 4 years. No, we're going to time skip 4 years. Deku is now 35 years old, and he's enjoying his life. He accomplished. They accomplished their dreams. Uraka is now well known enough to the point that she is making a little bit more finance than she did 4 years ago. Deku is now assistant manager of the cup ramen factory. They're doing good for themselves. Everything is going okay. The Uraka One day Uraka told Deku that she has uh, school reunion, high school reunion, and they got their invitation, and Deku was, she told Deku, let's go, let's take the kids. As the moment, she has a 4-year-old little girl and a 2-year-old little boy. At this moment, I'm not gonna give any names. So they decided a week from now they will be attending the high school reunion. They attend the high school reunion where they met a few of their classmates. Deku could have recognized a few of the his classmate as well. This is where Uraraka. This is MHA. So I'm basically saying that was college or something. But MHA reunion, as a few of Deku's classmates from middle school, he could have recognized. Everyone recognized Deku as they went up to talk to Deku. Deku is refusing to hold dialect with them due to they haven't spoken in 40. I mean, yeah, they haven't spoken in like 30 years. I'm on 20 years or some shit. How could they pretend to come and talk to him after all that? After Bakugo died, he cut ties with everyone. He focused on his studies. He became a police officer. He got recruited by MH Secret Service, then got bumped up to being a Secret Service agent, then bumped up to being a secret auditor agent. You know what I mean? So his life was fulfilled in a sense without them in it, and he basically just shunned them off. Uraraka was acting as Uraraka is, all cheery and gleamy eyed, talking to everyone, while Deku was, seated in the corner drinking a cup of wine, if you may say, a cup of Chardonnay, if you may say. Ah, I should buy myself a bottle of Chardonnay later. I have a little bit of money extra. I should treat my fucking self. It's good to treat yourself now and again. You know what I mean? Anyway, so later on, after the party, they went driving off. As Uraka was asking Deku how he enjoyed the party, Deku was like meh. As Uraka was explaining that she had a lot of fun. It's been years since she's seen a bunch of her classmates, and she focused on Midoriya. I mean, that guy, man, not Midoriya. Um, One that got the sticky balls on his head. Cause she was like, he never changed. He was always a big pervert and even a bigger pervert now. But he done went for himself. Deku was like, yes, he did. I don't really know the guy, but he seems cool or somewhat reason, as uh, stuff happens, and a little argument happened because Deku got little insecure as to, like, why he doesn't have much friends like you. Like, stop rubbing it in his face that you have so much friend. He doesn't want to hear about it, and it's just like that little fight happens where Deku then he's kind of upset and stuff. He never fought with his wife throughout the 5 years that they were together, and yes, 5 years because we forgot the situation. Throughout the 5 years that they were together, and this is the first fight. He's like confused, and he was like planning on apologizing, but he kind of made his ego got in the way, and that night he slept on the couch. uh, Early in the morning, he got up, went out, does his normal routine. He exercises and, came back in, and somehow he forgot the garbage bin because that scene was in the movie as well. So it doesn't happen often, but this day he forgot to take out the trash. So it's basically showing that today is going to be a fucking bad day, as he hit the garbage can, and dragged it back in. Entering, Uraraka mentioned that he forgot to take out the trash. He said he didn't. He tried to. He was just late. Um, he tried making up with Uraraka, but Uraraka was still feeling upset that Deku said all those things to her while they were driving back, basically stating that Uraraka doesn't really care about him, and they were only together because Uraraka thought that he was helpless and weak. Yeah, blah blah blah, and stuff. So she only said those to him as she exited the room, stating that she has some hero work to do. As she left, she kissed her two kids, and she told them that the breakfast is on the table. See you at lunchtime, because she goes to her schools to her kids' school to enjoy lunch with her kids. She's a very respected and loving mother, what I mean? Even though she's a well-known hero, she still makes time for her babies, because that's her babies. You know what I mean? It's a mama bear right there. Anyway, so Deku is now at work. As he, was arriving at work, there was a couple of thugs that usually hangs at front of his business. He informed them to leave, not to make any trouble for any of his employees, and not to make too much noise out there, or he will inform the authorities. They laughed and looked at Deku and told him, like, shut up, Mr. Midori. We ain't doing shit. Go back inside. So he proceeded to do so. Moments later, Deku could be seen on the phone as he was talking to a bigger boss, trying to finalize a deal to create a spectacular new ramen that Deku came up with, because Deku he be working at that factory for a while, so he came up with a few ideas. But the big CEO had other plans. He was planning on telling Deku that they were going to tear down the factory to create a casino. Is then what else does this small town needs rather than other than a ramen factory making facility? And beside him, there's hundreds of from cup ramen factories located at various locations in the city. So one ramen factory going missing is not going to impact the society as much. So Deku was still holding the phone as his CEO hanged up a while back. Deku being you know quite upset about the turnout stuff. So later on, Deku worked late into the night, finalizing some paperwork and getting some stuff done that he needed to get done, as he heard some commotion outside. And it was the same group of thugs, but they weren't the one causing all this commotion. A group of cars approached and started demanding whatever they were demanding. They were doing it loudly as they proceeded to start wailing on one of the persons that usually hangs in front of Deku's factories. They started beating on him. Deku was watching them through his window as they dragged the person. Deku could have heard the person scream as he ran down the stairs to inform them that he to inform the people that the intruders that he just called the authorities and they should promptly leave the spot. But instead of leaving, the well suited thugs and all pulled out guns pointed at everyone around them. Deku seeing that, oh, they're pointing guns, and he's like he's being very obedient because they have fucking guns. As one of the rest well dressed thug informed him that he was the one that just bought the factory, and he's the one that's planning on turning this place into a casino. Actually royally pissing Deku off. He placed his blood, sweat, and tears into this factory for you to just come buy off his, the factory and stuff. But at that moment, Deku didn't do anything, as he just watched the the kids that been hanging in front of his store for about a couple of years now get brutally beaten, mauled, and barely noticeable to their phone face ID, if you know what I mean. Police finally arrive as they question Deku. They ask Deku why didn't he, assist, as Deku was the only one that didn't have injuries on his person. And they taunt him, stating that if it was them, even if he would have gotten hurt, he would have helped these poor innocent bystanders. Um, while later, big news, everything happened as Deku informed them that, oh, it was the guy that claimed to buy, who was going to, be owning his store. The guy got caught, got sent into court, and got released. So fairly, no justice happened there. These, you know, 6 individuals are now in the hospital, and the person who assaulted them or gave the order to have them placed in such a situation got roamed free. But this is not the end of it. This is not where everything for Deku comes to an end. This is not where Deku has a better day, because then one day was bad out of it. So throughout the day, Deku spilled his coffee, dropped his lunch, got his company sold off without his permission, and then proceeded to stand and watch as you know innocent, not but they weren't innocent, but at that moment in time they were innocent bystanders getting beaten to the point to an inch of their lives. So this weighed heavy on Deku throughout the days that was about to come, or this is going to weigh heavy on Deku on the days about to come. And he thought about it. His wife, Uraraka, finally came true and wasn't angry at him anymore. More, she was scared, and actually, she cried a lot. She held on to her man like for dear life. Deku was, upset about it. He constantly go every day to the hospital, and he asked what if they're okay. He brings flowers. The people, of course, weren't really um, sympathetic to the situation. Everyone blamed Deku for causing them to in the for them to be in this situation now. He could have stopped. He could have helped in some way, but he just stood there. Video CC civilians show that they beat the kid. These kids, they beat them badly. And Deku just stood there and watched. He could have done anything, but per to his contract, to his retirement. So the big reveal: Deku has a contract that he cannot use any of his known skill in the outside world. So he has to restrain himself as much as he can. So throughout this a whole 5 years, that's what he has been doing. But this was the last straw. You know what I mean? This bad guy, somehow we'll figure out a name for him later. Beat 6 civilians near dead. Got arrested. They have evidence, video evidence that he did it. He was there. You could clearly see he was there. This villain was there. And the judge ruled him not guilty. This pushed Deku over the edge to the point where he ain't having it anymore, but he let it go. He left it go. A few months have passed since the incident. Deku and his wife was enjoying a nice meal with their kids, watching movies. Later on that night, they went to bed. Few hours later, after they were in their sleeping stage, Deku heard ruffling downstairs. As he then got up and went downstairs and saw a light flashing through the living room. He proceeded to pick up a golf club, similar to the movie. I'm stealing scenes. As he walked over to his cell phone. What's going to be different here? He didn't attack anyone in the movie, but these are the bad guys, goons, and they're here to cause Deku immense pain. So Deku arrived to the his house phone, and he tried to dial 911, but he then was swiftly apprehended by what seemed to be a couple of guys dressed in military SWAT gear or SWAT gears, fully armed and fully ready for whatever is going to pop off in the next 3 minutes. As one of them told Deku to get on his knees, Deku got on his knees. He told him that all the money he has is located in the safe. He gave them the safe combination, but they just proceeded to laugh at Deku, stating that they're not here for money. No, they're here to kill him and his entire family. As they start brutally beating on Deku, Deku started yelling, telling Uraraka to get the kids. Uraraka heard Deku yelling from downstairs. She got the kids and went and got the kids, but because she was a hero, locked the kids up and went downstairs to assist her husband. Arriving downstairs, she got a gun butt to the head. Deku, seeing his wife fall to the ground, lost entire control of himself. Anyway, this is where we're going to leave this off. Hopefully you all enjoy this one. Check out all the links in the description down below. These are what if creators that I think are amazing. such as Six Meister, Kid Zeus, Soku Meister, Liam Meister, Lord Titan, just to name a few. Also, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, tickle that bell notification to get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Hope y'all enjoy this one. Really enjoy this one because I did my best to make it make sense. And honestly, if y'all didn't really understand, I don't really give a fuck. If y'all didn't enjoy, still subscribe, because then one of these days I'm gonna make a, a world the world's greatest what if sooner or later. I'm just working on making myself more better at it. Remember, I'm young at doing this. But anyway, this is your unfriendly Ray Rack neighbor Kevin Cornish, and I'll see you in the next one. Holla at a nigga, say whoop.